So this video right here, it really means something to me. I wanted to let you know that even though I'm here to educate you, to motivate you, to inspire you to be the best version of yourself, I wanted to make sure that I let everybody know right away that I'm not perfect. I'm very far from it. But through my imperfections, I have learned some valuable lessons. All right? This is Mr. Amen, and this is a Let Them Know Media production. So right away, as you can see, I just wanted to let y'all know that I'm not perfect. I've made some real bad mistakes in life. I've made some really bad decisions. I don't want to be that motivational speaker that, it's easier for me to tell people how I think that they need to look at certain things. And I'm not the person that take my own advice, right? I want y'all to know that I take my own advice. I've studied my advice. I've went through my advice. I've watched and worked on these techniques and the understanding that I give through the lessons that I teach, through motivating you, through educating you. I've been homeless twice, not once, but twice. So it's like I turned 21 at a homeless shelter. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for a lot of people that's 21 years old, that year of turning 21 is supposed to mean something special. But when I turned 21, I was living in a shelter. On top of that, I had just learned within some weeks of that my little cousin had got killed. And he was the first person that I ever seen grow from a baby, to a young adult. He was 17 when he passed away. But, and I want to say rest in peace to Raymond. I love you and I keep you in my memory, but those were some rough times for me personally. I was going to school to get my high school diploma at the age of 21. And that was one of the major reasons why I didn't run back home, or I didn't try to go back from whence I came. I had made a decision that I didn't want to get my GED. And the program that I was in was an adult high school where you can earn your actual high school diploma, not an HSED and not a GED, but an actual high school diploma. And so because I was knee deep in making sure that I was going to get my diploma, I had it in my mind that no matter what I went through, that I was going to stick it out and I was going to make sure that I did not run from my problems and that I was going to get my high school diploma. And within a year, I had that high school diploma. But there's been a lot of roads taken that could have led me down a different path. I came from a dysfunctional background, right? And the things that went on in my life was not easy to deal with. Having people in your immediate family that was alcoholics and, people that did drugs and things of that nature. And, I'm having to watch this and figure out what I need to do with my own life and not knowing how to deal with those things because I was a young child. I was a young adolescent, and those was not the things that I should have had to been dealing with, but I had to deal with it. So I really kind of grew up fast. I did a lot of things fast. I started smoking weed at an early age. I started doing things with drugs and putting them in the streets and stuff like that to earn myself money. And I kind of became a product of my environment when at that age I always had a foundation of self. Like I was already knowledgeable of self. I had already studied a lot of things as far as God is concerned, the different schools of thought, the different schools of thought that led me to understanding myself and the world, I should say. And because I didn't delve into that as much as I should have, I would say that the reason for that was because of the things I was going through as a young child. And so I am not perfect. I used to fight a lot. I got into a lot of trouble. I almost got killed when I was, 16, 17 years old? And my grandmama, she saved my life, and it was because I was gang banging in the streets. I am not perfect. There's things about life that I talk to everybody about because I want everybody to understand that ain't nobody out here perfect, and we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and we all fall victim to ourselves in some type of shape, form, or fashion. We blame the external world for every battle that we're going through in our internal world. And rightfully so, because we're trying to rectify an understanding in how we perceive our lives and what do we need to do with how we perceive our lives and how we need to make direct choices that would impact the way we see life here and the way we feel life here. And sometimes that can get misconstrued by what we go through. And so I am not perfect. I've done a lot of things where I fell short of glory. I've done things that I don't like. And in those doing of things, I've hurt people as well as I've hurt myself. And so one of the things that I would like to tell you is that hurt people, right? And if you are in a circumstance that's pulling you down and weighing you down, you might be screaming, you might be shouting for help and don't nobody hear you. You don't think nobody understands. You don't think no one cares about what you are going through. But it is for you to understand what you're going through. It is for you to make the right steps. It is for you to bring yourself to people that can help. If no one in your circle can help you, you have to find it yourself. See, I am not perfect. I've done things, and throughout this video, you will understand that the man that I am today was not the man that I was yesterday, was not the man that I was 10 years ago, was not the man that I was 20 years ago. See, hurt people, and I've hurt people, and people have hurt me. And so I stayed in that cyclic pattern where I was feeling like I was stuck. But the reason why I felt like I was stuck and the reason why I was feeling like I was stuck, because I was stuck here. See, the mind is the gateway to understanding this physical world that we in. And the mind is consistently looking towards the positive and the opposing energy, which is negative, in order for it to find a way to an answer. But the problem with that is your upbringing, the things that you go through, how it has affected you mentally and emotionally, and sometimes physically. That plays a major role on the comprehension of how your mind can understand the world around it. The interactions with people, the interactions with your feelings, the interaction with your visions, the interaction with your dreams, the interaction to what all that means in your life. See, I'm not perfect, but through my imperfections, I've learned valuable lessons, and those valuable lessons taught me to be a man. I had some traumatic experiences growing up, like my mom taking care of a man that never worked a job. And so that made me feel like I can never let a woman just fully take care of me. And so I've had to grind, and I grind because I need to be a man. I can't be a man child. You understand what I'm saying? I cannot be a man child because the child is to be taken care of by the parents. And so a man is supposed to be an upright person. An outstanding man's testimony is how he deals with the problems in his life. Is he a stand-up guy? Does he deal with his emotions? Does he deal with his technicalities with a sound mind, with a peace of mind? Or does he lose control and throw grown man tantrums and make everything worser than they was before? See, I've had some traumatic experiences in my life, and I've learned that I've had to turn lemons into lemonade. I've learned that the things that I've went through is not an excuse for me not to give my best in every situation that I go through. I have learned that I have to find the value in my difficulties, because in those difficulties, God is trying to teach me a lesson. See, I am not perfect. And one of the hardest points with my life was the hurting people part. See, I seen my stepfather hurting my mom. And so when I grew up and became a young man, I was the type of young man that hurt women the way I seen my stepfather hurt women. And I had to learn that this is not really me. I, at the core of who I am, love women. And I remember Tupac saying, like, man, I love women kind of like how Prince loved women, you know? Now, I don't dress feminine, but I love the feminine aspect of life. I am in love. It is a passion to me, for me to see women doing great things. So how could I become the monster? You know, this is difficult for me to explain, but I have to free myself of anybody thinking, well, he's just a motivational speaker. He just want to tell people what to do, but he doesn't practice what he preaches. And so I am not perfect. And it took me some years to understand that in my imperfection was some valuable lessons that I needed to learn. And some of those valuable lessons came in the shape of, am I worth the clarity? Am I worth being forgiving? And forgiveness was the hardest thing that I had to do for my own self, let alone wondering if I can be forgiven by people. And so it took me years of practicing what I preach, of doing the groundwork, the grassroots work, doing the work that I needed to do to apply all of the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding that I've studied, because I've studied criminal justice, criminal thinking, I've studied psychology, I studied Egyptology, I've studied a lot of the ancient teachings of the world. I've went through different initiation systems, okay? And so with those things, with those lessons, with those teachings, with that patience that my teachers have given me, and they've given me a lot of patience, because when you going through a rapture, when you going through a major human change from a man to a divine being, you have to fight the things inside of you that don't want to let go of what you thought you were. And my teachers have been very patient with me. And I really appreciate my teachers being patient with me and giving me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be a divine man, to practice divine manhood. And so I am not perfect, but through my imperfections, I have learned some valuable lessons. And I put it all on the table because I want y'all to learn from me. I want y'all to understand that when y'all listen to any of my videos, y'all practice any of the teachings that I talk to you guys about, that I teach, that you can have a connection with a real person that's went through real things, and they not perfect like you're not perfect, but working on self and being the best version of self. You getting that authentically from me to you and from you back to me. Because like I always say, let's heal together. Each one teach one. One healed, go heal the next person. So forth and so on. Let it be a chain reaction that lights a fire of distinguished learning. So you can be better than you was yesterday going into tomorrow. See, I am not perfect and you're not neither. So what does that mean? That means that every day that we are above ground, every day that we are forgiven, every day that we are not forgiven, every day when we think about the things that we've done, and every time we look at who we are in the mirror is another day where we can practice being better than we was at any time in our lives. And that means that we can make the rest of our lives the best of our lives. You know, you can connect with me on the level of knowing that with all of the stuff that I've learned and all of the things that I've done, I'm no better than you. Matter of fact, I might be just like you. And so it's easier to connect with somebody that understands the pain, that understands the rain, that understands what you are going through from a standpoint of they actually went through it too. I think it's a little hard to listen to somebody that don't know and they just trying to tell you something, but they ain't really been through it. See, I've been homeless twice. Once when I was 21. When I was 20, I turned 21 into the shelter. And then again, almost 10 years ago. And so one would say maybe I didn't learn from the first time, right? But the second time I have to make value from it, and that's what I've been doing. And so I encourage you to listen to this video. If you made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you so much for listening to my imperfect ways and my imperfect struggle and my imperfect hustle to learn valuable lessons that has catapulted me to a height that I never thought I would be able to reach until I had came to the conclusion that I can do all things because the divineship lives in me. And I want to give the divineship the best opportunity of having a life to be looked at and saying that, hey, that man right there, that woman right there, they wasn't perfect, but they always gave it their best. And so they was blessed because they never quit. And they always was willing to work on themselves and do the right thing for themselves and the people that they love and the people that they're around, and they extended themselves in the same manner. I encourage you to learn from my story. and to learn from your own story and understand that true work is done every day. And to always value that you reap what you sow. So always work towards an outcome that you will love, that you will enjoy, and that gives you peace. All right? If you made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you could please share this video with one person that you know that has been through some similar things as this guy that you're listening to right now. And you think that they can listen to this and they can find something not only with just this video, but all of the other videos that I have, and that can bring them closer to them working on themselves and being better versions of themselves every day. Please share this content. Please like and subscribe. And as always, I thank you for that in advance. All right? This is Mr. Amen. And this is Let Them Know.